Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we will be unboxing, taking a first look, and reviewing the Maxfind FF Belt electric skateboard. This is a high-performance, flexible, composite belt drive electric skateboard from Maxfind Micromobility. The FF Belt may look similar to many boards out there, but has plenty of subtle differences and features that make it unlike any other board that we've reviewed. The board is currently available for $869, but typically retails for around $900 US. Getting into the unboxing, the board came double boxed with an outer shipping box and an inner Maxfind branded box that holds the board. The inner box has been customized specifically for the FF Belt and looks nice. The inner packaging is minimal but enough to hold the board, which sits right under a top layer of foam. Right out of the box, this board has a distinct aesthetic and vibe to it with many notable, unique, visible features. Underneath the board is a box made of foam that holds all of the accessories, and also a yellow hex key tool which likely just fell out of the foam box. The first thing in here was an operation manual, which is always important to read before taking the board for the first ride. Next is the remote controller, which is a standard Hobbywing remote packaged in a different casing. The form factor is very similar to the standard Hobbywing remote, but is slightly more boxy at the top. The buttons are also set on the remote a little bit differently. The remote feels ergonomic, which makes the board comfortable to control, and feels solid and well built with a nice OLED display screen for live telemetry data. The charger is not one that I've seen before, but looks very similar to those on most e-boards. It charges at a rate of 3 amps, which is on the faster side. The charge port is a 3-pin XLR style connector. For the charger, there is also a standard US power cable, a T-tool for board maintenance, USB-C cable for remote charging, and a wrench were also included. Here's a closer look at all of the accessories included with the Maxfind FF Belt electric skateboard. With the unboxing done, we are now going to take a closer look at all of the components used on this board. First, we have the deck, which is the real star of the show on this product and is what makes it unique in my opinion. Maxfind calls this deck the X-Composite Flex deck. This deck is a unibody composite glass fiber deck with 2 separate built-in enclosure compartments. It is 38 inches long and 9 inches wide with a downhill shape to it. Interestingly, the front foot area is a little larger than the back at 9 1/4 inches wide. The deck has a micro drop down to keep the rider locked in, and a U-concave for solid board control. There's also a built-in handle to the nose of the deck for carrying the board. The deck has a very noticeable hatch built into the top, which we will discuss later in more detail. Another distinct aspect to this board is the apparent lack of grip tape. Instead, the surface of the deck is covered in this grippy surface that is shock absorbing and far less abrasive. The wheels are 105mm honeycomb style wheels that are found on a lot of budget electric skateboard upgrade kits. These ones are 78A in durometer. The trucks are the Maxfind M3 Supercarve trucks, which are 11.4 inch wide double kingpin trucks. This is narrower than the DKP trucks found on every other DKP board that I've tried. The trucks have a rough CNC machined finish to them for high precision, and the bushings are 95A Duro. There is also a red FF badge on the top of the truck base plate for aesthetics. The drivetrain on the FF Belt is a dual belt drive setup. The motors hang off the back of the board as with all other DKP boards. The motors are each 1,500 watts for a combined maximum motor power of 3,000 watts on the board. The drivetrain has a built-in motor protection bracket to keep the drivetrain and motors well protected. This is particularly useful when dragging the board by the front nose handle. Overall, the drivetrain looks well built and refined. All of the electronics in this board are integrated into the X-Composite deck. The front enclosure holds the battery and the rear enclosure holds the ESC. The battery in the front enclosure can be easily hot swapped out. To remove the old battery, simply rotate the knob on the top of the deck, pull off the lid, and unplug the battery. This is one of the best designed hot swap battery setups that I've had the opportunity to test. A full swap can be easily done in less than a minute. The battery itself sits inside an additional waterproof casing, which feels very nice and robust. The battery is a 12S3P made from Samsung 29E cells and is 376 watt-hours. The ESC sits in the rear compartment of the board and is a Hobbywing version 5.0 FOC ESC. The Hobbywing ESCs have been excellent to me in other boards. The power switch and charge port are also located in the rear compartment of the deck. The overall aesthetic of the two compartments is slick with the matte black finish. From close up, the front enclosure is pretty thick and boxy to hold the large battery. The rear enclosure is super thin, barely sticking out from the deck. It would be super stealthy if not for the metal cover plate with the laser engraved QR codes for Maxfind socials, which I don't particularly like having on my board. Overall, the Maxfind FF Belt is a slick, refined, and thoughtfully designed electric skateboard with great unique components. These notably include the composite deck, cased battery, short DKP trucks, and motor covers. So now, having gone over all of the components used in this board, we are going to go into an in-depth review of our experience riding with the FF Belt electric skateboard over the last few months. Jumping into our review, this section of the video will be split up into categories detailing each of the important specs and aspects to this board. The chapters built into this video can be used to skip through the sections as needed. The first category is the top speed of the board. Maxfind advertises that the top speed on the FF Belt is 28 miles per hour or 45 kilometers an hour. In our speed tests, we were able to hit 46 kilometers an hour according to the remote, which is just above 28 miles per hour. These days, this is relatively slow for a board in this price range, as many boards will typically break 30 miles per hour. This being said, 28 miles per hour is plenty fast for most riders, and if you wanted to, you could increase the top speed by changing the gear ratio or the wheel size. If you're an enthusiast looking for a faster board, this is probably not a great option, but for the average rider, this top speed is plenty. The second category is the range on this board. Maxfind advertises the range of each battery to be 25 miles or 40 kilometers. Based on our range test, we got about 18 miles or 29 kilometers out of each battery pack. This is 28% less than what is advertised on the board, which is expected given that this test was performed while riding aggressively with an average speed of around 35 kilometers an hour on hilly terrain in 75 Fahrenheit degree weather with an 150-pound rider. In perfect ideal conditions, 25 miles may be possible, but I would estimate that the average user will get around 20 miles of range from this board. One of the incredible things about this board though is that the batteries can be swapped easily to effectively increase the range if desired. Each additional battery is $300 if purchased directly with the board, or $400 if purchased separately. Overall, the range is solid for what the board is, so I was satisfied with its performance in this regard. Third, we have the hill climbing on this board, and Maxfind claims that the FF Belt can climb hills up to 35%. We tested the board on the hills that we ride on a daily basis and test our other boards on. The hill climbing performance on this board was lackluster compared to my expectations. The board was significantly more sluggish than other similarly priced belt drive boards that we've tested on these hills. The FF Belt made it up all of the hills that we tested it on, but was slower than the competition. We maxed out the board quickly on the hills, which usually doesn't happen. This isn't a bad option if you're looking for a board to use in a hilly area, but there are certainly better boards out there when it comes to hill climbing in this price point, and even slightly cheaper. The acceleration and braking of the FF Belt is the fourth category under review. Both the acceleration and brakes on this board are smooth, predictable, and most importantly, intuitive. The brakes are solid in terms of their strength, bringing the rider to a stop quickly. However, just like the hill climbing, the acceleration off the line was a little bit underwhelming. This board is not particularly quick off the line and doesn't offer the thrill that I was hoping for. The mid and high-end torque is also relatively weak. I think that this and the hill climbing experience can be attributed to the small 50mm motors on this board. Many companies have started using 63mm motors instead in this price range, which is a noticeable upgrade. Overall, the acceleration and brakes get the job done, but are not a standout selling point to the board. Fifth, we have the ride feeling and comfort of the FF Belt, which is a subjective topic given that everyone has different preferences to how their board should feel. To me, the ride feeling and comfort of this board are a mixed bag. The feeling of this board is fantastic as the flexible X-Composite deck provides a unique riding experience. The deck has the micro drop downs and U-concave, which kept me feeling locked in while being generally comfortable on my feet. The flex of this deck is also remarkable given that the enclosures are built into the board. Most other composite decks that I've tried are made from a stiff carbon fiber that yield a stiff and unenjoyable riding experience. This deck was quite the opposite. The deck has a springy feel to it that absorbs a ton of road vibrations while also just being fantastic to pop in and out of carves on. The double kingpin trucks further enhance this carvy feeling, and the deck and the trucks combined together yield a super fun, carvy, and flexible ride. The comfort of this board is a little bit of a different story due to the wheels though. While these wheels are big, I felt that the tread on these wheels made for a bumpy ride. The board can tackle large cracks and bumps due to the sheer wheel size, but is not particularly comfortable. They don't really do a great job at absorbing vibrations despite the 78A Duro. Furthermore, the grip on them didn't feel super strong as the wheels are rounded off. The flexible deck helped a lot with comfort, absorbing road vibrations and cracks and bumps, but could only do so much when combined with these wheels. The advantage to the stock 105s is that the tread enables the board to be ridden in light off-road conditions more easily, but I ultimately think a more premium, flat, standard street style wheel would do the trick better on this board. Overall, the FF Belt is a unique riding experience thanks to this special X-Composite deck, but I think it has room for improvement and upgrades to be even better. Finally, we have the miscellaneous topics related to this board. The first thing to discuss is the deck, which I touched on a little bit in the last section. The flexible unibody deck is what makes this a unique product with a lot of potential. This is one of my all-time favorite decks for the ride feeling, especially when combined with the fact that the enclosures are built in and that there's an easily swappable battery. This brings me into the next topic, which is the swappable battery. The system that they've used on this board works very well for fast swapping and allows for a large battery pack to be swapped. Many swappable batteries tend to be smaller, but these are sizable at 376 watt-hours in a 12S3P configuration. Third is the waterproofness of the board, which is rated at IPX5. This allows the board to be ridden in moderate wet riding conditions if need be, which is surprising given the swappable battery, so they've done a great job waterproofing this board. So here are my concluding thoughts on the Maxfind FF Belt electric skateboard. This board really shines in its features rather than its specs. The performance of this board does not stand out compared to the competition when it comes to the top speed, range, hill climbing, or acceleration. What does stand out though is the X-Composite flexible integrated deck and the swappable battery, which are unique to this board. The deck alone is a reason to be interested in the FF Belt, as it takes the best aspects from unibody integrated decks and classic flexible longboard decks. I would recommend this board to those that are interested in these features, and especially if you're keen on a robust swappable battery system. That's all I have for this review on the FF Belt electric skateboard. We will leave a link to this product in the description below. If you have any questions about this product, please let us know in the comment section below and we'll try to get back to you. And if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more like it, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more electric skateboard reviews. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video.